Welcome to Forever Exiled, a Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin A.K. Tags.
Tyler, Record of Days.
This is episode 133.
Yeah, good guess.
33.
Yeah, no, you're doing
I don't
it.
have it in front of me. This is weird. Tyler and I are face to face, and it's
awkward.
It's a little uncomfortable.
There's two things that we are literally in the same room.
We're knee to knee right now.
For the first time in forever in terms of podcasting, except for episode 100. That was the only other episode that we did together.
Yeah, we don't have to
Tarke.
look at each other though.
So this one's going to end in two ways. It's either going to end with both of us naked or with both of us hating each other.
Yeah, there's going to be a fight.
Sometimes those are nice. Yeah,
Yeah, they could go hand in
clothed or
hand.
naked.
They could
Who
go
knows?
hand in hand.
Who knows? But it's nice to see you. And check this out. Like, Justin's got a super fancy setup here. I didn't know we were so fancy, man.
Yeah, well, they don't just happen on their own, you know? This is where the magic happens. Me and my shoes.
It is.
Yeah, so anyway, we're in person. This is
Yeah, still
different.
awkward.
Yeah, hasn't changed. No headphones too. That's throwing me off.
Yeah, I know. I gotta like pop my ears.
And I don't have a screen right in front of me, which it's just normally I can position you in a way on my screen where I don't have to look at you.
No,
You
you,
know?
never do. You don't even listen.
No, I'm often looking at you, but I also position you so you're near where my phone might be.
Well, see, this is probably why Justin might be a little nervous. Is now when I'm speaking, I know when he's looking at his phone. I mean, I already know anyway because I'll say something or I'm trying to make something funny, and it's every time I try and say something funny that Justin's doing
Maybe
a
it's
little
just
bit
not
of work.
funny.
No, you're
Maybe-
doing work texting, and then I'm like awkward silence.
You're slowing down for the punchline.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just starting to speak even slower and slower and slower, just so that I'm like timing the punchline of my joke for
Yeah,
when you're
of course.
finished on your phone. Never works. But actually, I was listening to one of my last week's podcast,
Yep.
and this sounds familiar with me saying it, but do I talk slow? When I asked my wife that, she was like, "Uh-huh."
Do you talk slow?
It seemed so slow. I felt like I was talking like a sloth, but that's my
There are
brain's
times,
moving
yeah.
so fast. But it's just
There's
like
times I can tell where your brain is trying to like put it together.
yeah, but that's like the concussion stuff. But I go back to like old jobs where, you know, my boss would push me aside. I feel like I'm working at a good rate, and then I just get like pushed aside. My boss would do my job for me quick and pass it on to the customer and move on. And I'm like, what's going on? So it's interesting when something clicks in retrospect. But I don't know if I was such a slow talker.
I don't know. I mean, usually
you're
when we're
used to it.
talking about stuff, it's relatively like it's stuff we're excited about. So sorry, Aaron. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I'm just used to your rate of speech. Talking.
I think it's because the amount of wisdom inside that I
that's
have
what
to
it
give.
is.
I need to speak slowly so people catch on before I move on to the next epic conversation of sweet
And they're
raw
all epic.
one-liners.
Big shout out to some new patrons this week, Daniel and Stickers. Thank you both for joining the podcast. Patreon, you guys are superstars. Everybody else for supporting the podcast. We love you. If you're curious what Patreon is, it gets you access to our After Dark, which is just our podcast after the podcast where we chat and do more of this such thing
Correct.
auditorily.
Except for tonight, because
Yeah,
it's my wife's birthday.
We probably
and
won't
so,
have an After Dark for episode 133.
And that's my fault, but it's my wife's birthday today, and we're going out this evening. So
He's trying to be a good husband.
trying.
Yeah.
Spending money to cover up all my faults.
That's right.
Yes, and it's not my money because I don't work. I stay at
Throw
home
her
with the
own
kids.
money at
That's
her.
Right. The awesome. I'm treating you out with our money.
That's right.
Yes.
It's very kind of you.
I am very, very kind.
Yep.
Hey, so mic etiquette here. How do you want me to cough?
I would rather you just not.
So I'm going to.
No, we're not going to do it. We're going to okay. Didn't even listen.
You want me to move the mic away next time?
No. Nope. I'll
Write that down. Yeah, you're doing great.
6:23.
Justin,
Yes, sir.
this coming Friday is April 29th. You created your account April 29th, 2012.
Wow.
Dude, that's
I?
easy math.
April 29th. Hey, that's
That's
week
over
from-
5 years ago. 10 years. You've been a PoE man.
Cool.
Yeah.
When was yours? Yours was like 2 or 3 years ago.
2014, I think, but I don't think I actually started till
Started playing.
2015. But Justin, you're 10 years old. You're almost a teenager.
That was closed beta still.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, anyway, happy birthday.
We've come a long way, GGG. Yep. How was your week, bud?
Oh, it was crazy. So remember in November our basement flooded.
Yeah.
So downstairs is completely empty. Everything downstairs was either thrown out in the garbage or it's in the garage or it's upstairs based on, like furniture's in the garage piling up like our old fish tank and bed and couches and stuff. But everything else, like all the kids' toys, our desk, computer, that's all upstairs. So now, it's been a crazy upstairs. I've said that a few times in the episode. So we have like boxes piled to the ceiling upstairs of all of our downstairs stuff. Not that long ago, our dishwasher leaked upstairs. And so now our whole floor upstairs needs to be replaced.
Is it the whole upstairs?
Yeah, it's the whole upstairs.
Oh.
Everything except for the bathroom was included by insurance. So we're just saying, hey, listen, just do the bathroom.
Did that floor carry to the bedrooms too?
Yeah, we're getting the bedrooms done too.
Sweet.
But because of the age of our house, the flooring has asbestos in it. And so there's a certain procedure.
Does or could?
Okay. Yeah, it tested positive. And so there's a certain process they have to do. And so they're doing it in 2 stages, and the kitchen is getting done so that, we can have the kitchen throughout the rest of the flooring process, which will be done almost near the end of May. So it's like a whole month for this whole thing to happen because we want to stay home while the kids are in school instead of needing to go to an apartment or a hotel. So right now, our entire kitchen now, so remember the upstairs is already jam-packed. Now the kitchen is completely empty too. So our fridge is out, our oven's out, all the cupboards
There's been
are
no
out.
work done downstairs?
No, because we were just about to focus on how we wanted to spend that. Because that wasn't covered by insurance, so we had important decisions to make with our own money.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden this happens. This is insurance-wise, but it's how we deal with upstairs. And we didn't have a dishwasher, so that took priority because, of course, insurance claims have to happen within a certain time frame too. But now that with all how crazy that was, now the whole kitchen is out there. So now, like our whole dining room,
everything
packed.
Exists in 500 square feet.
Yeah, and then even the kitchen itself, like it's just completely sealed off, right? As some sort of biohazard danger zone because it's asbestos.
Yep.
But we literally have nowhere. We have to step over boxes just to sit on the couch. And we have to sit cross-legged on the couch just until this weekend. But it was all week. And my daughter was sick all week again. She has another virus.
Yep.
And so she was home, but there was nowhere for her to be. She actually had to be in her bedroom the whole time just because there's nowhere to walk.
Sure.
And it's interesting living without a kitchen.
Yeah.
Like we can't cook anything. We can use the fridge, but we don't have anything to clean with.
Mm-hmm.
We're limited with the stuff that we can use because it has to fit in the bathroom sink.
Yeah.
So there's all of our water bottles can't fit in there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to, do. So we're kind of limiting the dishes that we use and all. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but.
And that's supposed to be done this weekend, like where you'll be back to being able to use it, or?
So the actual floor of the kitchen is gone. Now we can't see it because it's closed off because they're still doing the abatement process. But right now it's just
so they had to actually remove the subfloor then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So and the subfloor is going in on Monday, and if I remember the restoration company correctly, we'll be able to use the sink starting Monday.
Sweet.
But the fridge and stove won't be in until the end of the week. So it's been a crazy week. But I mean, the kids love this stuff, right? Like. They've been getting Subway every day for lunch because we don't have
what else are you supposed
anything to do. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, they're in love with it, right? Because insurance is paying for a portion of it. And, then each day we're going like, okay, well, let's try McDonald's pancakes this morning for breakfast. Okay, let's try
in a week, they're going to be like, Jim sandwich.
Yeah, that's right. So they've been like, kids always love stuff that stresses the crap out of parents.
Sure.
So we've had and I didn't mean to talk so long about it, but we've had a very unique week that actually it hasn't really been that bad for my wife and I. Like it's stressful, but we've been like, we're doing really well. It's something we're able to laugh about. You know what I mean? It's not stressful to the point where it's overwhelming. It's just,
and hopefully,
we want this done.
Christina and I were actually talking about the other day that hopefully in like a year or two, you'll be at a point where you can be like enjoying what you know what I mean? Like right now it's awful. It sucks to go through it, but at least what you're getting done is kind of the stuff you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a forced update, which sucks, but
yeah. And it's like forced money when you don't want to spend it. But
totally.
the hydro seed outside. So the whole yard got dug up. The hydro seed.
It looks like someone took a shit on your whole lawn. It looks awesome.
And it's hard. Like I have all these ribbons set up and poles so that people don't go on it. And some of the laborers are still going through the backyard.
Try living here every freaking day when some idiot parks on your lawn.
Oh,
I was like debating putting rocks, like how you can put like
spiky ones,
big rocks
with glass poking out of them.
And then on this side of my driveway, on the other side of the driveway, they park where half their car is still on my driveway. And I'm like, God, I just wish I could just.
Yeah.
And I'm very nice. Very nice.
You are. Yeah. But there are times when we wish we walked around with shotguns.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
With a smile.
That's
with
right.
a smile.
Yeah, I told you.
Does this look like your driveway, lady?
Well, that'll be good once it's all done, though.
It is, but it's all kind of neat how it times together. Like right now, nobody can come over to play with the kids.
Yep.
They all have to go over to someone else's house, but I don't like inviting myself over. Hey, my son and your son wanted to hang out. Can we hang at your place this weekend?
Yep.
So they're not getting to hang out as much. Can't play baseball with the kids in the back, which they love doing, but...
You can't go in the back? You can't go in the backyard?
No, the back and the front were all dug up completely.
Oh,
I should show you
they hydro seed the back too?
Oh yeah, yeah. The excavator, it was huge. Like the rock pit in the back was 30 feet wide, 15 feet long, and about 8 feet deep. Like it was huge. The cylinders and rocks that they put in there.
Christina was saying that when it's all done for you guys, she's like, can you imagine? Like then all of a sudden you feel fine when it rains, like because you've spent like months now. Where if a big rain comes through, it's like, oh God.
Every time it rained, even if it was just like a little spit from
I was telling her it's going to take them a while, I think, to come down from that stress.
I hear one sound, and all it is the cat's drinking, but it takes me 2 minutes to figure it out, and I'm running around.
It's coming in!
Where is it? Land! We're moving out! So yeah, no, water still triggers us for sure, but June is kind of like when the hydro seed will be finished, if I'm doing it properly, if the rain isn't soaking
it looked really
too
wet.
Much. Too wet. There's puddles, so it's
can it be too wet?
Yeah, so I might have to reseed again next summer. But yeah, June is going to be when the upstairs is done and the outside is done, and then we'll just have the normal issue that we started with,
which is
November.
The basement.
Yeah, but
when does that start? November? No, when does the basement start?
The basement's whenever we want.
Oh, okay.
So who knows? But yeah, no, it's been a unique week for the parents, Aaron and I, but it's been fantastic for the kids.
Yeah, they're loving it.
Yeah. How about you? How was your week?
It was good. It was busy. I told listen, I can go into detail with Tyler when we're not recording a podcast, but yes, it was really busy. It was just nonstop work. I did take
did you WhatsApp me 623
yeah, so
for the
I know
cough that I did?
Yeah. I'm going to WhatsApp you every time you make a noise I want to get rid of.
Does that make me feel bad about all the sounds I make?
I should.
Every time
you're like,
Oh yeah, that's right. You take out my ums. I mean, no, he doesn't. I'm a very good speaker. Yeah. My dad was a public speaker, and he would kick.
There are times where I'm listening to that, and I was like,
still alive.
Bill would not like this.
You wouldn't. Oh my goodness! All the filler words that I come up with, and the amount of times that I say like I'm still in high school.
At least
that
you don't add
was a relevant
that inflection to it, though. Like,
like.
Yeah. What were you saying? There was what?
Well, you were telling me about how relaxed your week was, and you went to the
really
spa,
busy.
had a massage.
I did on, I don't remember what night, one of the nights this week, I just texted Christine. I was like, all right, make sure you're off on time. We're going out. My dad's going to watch the kids. So we went to the Keg, which was nice.
Oh, nice.
And then went and saw, oh man, I like the Harry Potter movies. I don't know what they're all called. Dumbledore, Secrets of Dumbledore, Secrets to Dumbledore.
You've been seeing the prequel ones? I'm not caught up on any of those ones.
Okay, so there's these beasts. I'm Griswold, Beast of Grimrold. I don't know what it's called. What they are. That's the series, I guess, that has started after Harry Potter, and I guess this is the third.
Okay.
I was told watch the first two, but I don't remember them. And in fact, I remember not liking them because I didn't like the kid's voice, like the main character's voice. He just irritated me sometimes when he was speaking, and I just couldn't get into it. But I love the fantasy style movies. So, and it was a chance to get out. So we went and saw Secrets of Dumbledore.
Sure.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the prequel ones. That all happens before
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter happened in that world, right?
Yeah. It's like, I guess it's like the telling of how some of this stuff came to be, which is fine. But that's another thing that I am very good. I could watch the movie that's the fourth in the series. And as long as, to me, the movies are done well when I can watch it. But it drives people crazy because they go, well, but you don't know the backstory. Like, because I watched The Secrets of Whatever, and Christina's seen the other two, and apparently there's backstory to it. And I'm like, but I didn't need to know that. I just enjoyed the video. It was fine. I enjoyed the movie, but I don't need to know what, like, I didn't know that there was this history between these two people. I was like, the movie's doing a pretty good job of.
You're just there to undo your pants.
That's right.
Let your gut out, have a smoke, and have a good time.
That's right. So anyway, we went and saw that. It was fun. It was a nice evening, and then it's been work. I can't think of anything else. I've been playing Minecraft with the kids.
Awesome.
We made like a server. My brother's playing on it too with his son.
Oh, nice.
Which is hilarious. Oh, we had everybody over here for Easter. That was actually really fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we didn't do Easter stuff this time.
We did like Christina does this big Easter egg hunt, and she gets like even the older kids into it. So like we've got kids ranging from Maya's the young, basically 4 through 20. And we've got...
You're talking yours family, or are you talking like cousins?
Her family, my family with cousins, everything. And so Christina does this big Easter egg hunt that goes all over.
But the 20-year-olds love.
Well, because there's a different version of it for all the kids who are like over 13, where they collect a certain amount of these tiny fake eggs, and then whoever wins gets stuff. I don't know. And then she has these big baskets. I don't know what it is. They just get a lot of stuff.
Anyway, it just does stuff and people smile.
People come by like, oh, that basket's so nice. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. tell me what's in it. But so we had them over, which was a lot of fun just to see everybody. But anyway, Nathan's been playing with us, and his son as well. And his son is 6 or 7. Man, it's hilarious when kids start playing Minecraft. It's infuriating as a parent to play with your kids sometimes, because they just don't wreck my stuff.
Oh, they like seeing how efficient TNT is.
When
they
he was
like
here, I was like, you should build your house
eggs.
out of diamonds. And he's like, what? It was so funny. It was funny too, because we set up a server, and so he took his character really far because he knew what would happen, that his kid would play, he'd start taking stuff. My kids are awful, they take stuff. So he went far away. But this game, they have villages in Minecraft, like these little people that you can buy and sell from. But in this particular mod pack, there's a waystone, I think it's called, in each village, and you can teleport between them. And so he had been at ours originally because that's where the spawn was. And then he went and found his own. And his son somehow knew that you could right-click the waystone and travel between waystones. So when the day that they were coming over here for Easter, I just happened to be on, and I was like, I typed to him, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And he's not responding. I'm thinking, oh, it's weird. Maybe he's just not seeing the text. And then I see his character in our village all of a sudden, just like randomly breaking stuff and just walking around. I'm like, that's not him. There's no way that's him. And sure enough, when they came over, my nephew was like, I saw you in Moon.
So excited. And you're like,
it's so much funny. Anyway, but yeah, my week has mostly been work though. It's been really busy. So yeah, there you go.
Cool.
That was more words than normal.
It was.
Right?
That was great. That was really good. I was going to say that I don't think I've ever stared at somebody so much while they're ever talking.
I know. And I'm really having to like...
I don't know if is this amount of eye contact normal, or do people normally like, yeah, you know, and then their eyes trail off and they're staring at like a corner of the sidewalk or
Do you want to know one of the
sky?
weird thoughts I've had that I think I've maybe told Christine before, but when you get your hair cut and when you get your teeth cleaned, those are these two moments where I just think it would be really funny to watch someone just maintain eye contact with that person. Like as the person's like cutting your hair and moving to around the front, or when they're washing your hair, just to be staring right in their eyeballs. And same with when they're like rinsing, when you go to see like the dentist, right? It's so awkward because their head's right here and you're doing this, right? Like looking past the head. Can you imagine if all of a sudden you were just shifted your eyes and just stared right into their eyes? And especially that weird moment where they look and they know that you're just staring straight into
every time that they show up in front, they're just going to get stared down. I think that's awesome.
I think it would be funny to. I could never do it, but it'd be so fun to watch.
I can relate to the dentist, but if you take a look, I just took my hat off.
Well, you could still get your hair cut, right? They could still buzz it if you wanted them to. I'm sure you do it yourself.
Once, one guy when I
$13.
took
I can already see you.
I spent $60 on something, so I don't have to spend $15 every time. And inflation's probably made it 25 now. But no, there was a time where my kids were getting their hair cut, and the guy asked me, he's like, "Can I do yours for free? I'll show you how it's done," because he didn't like how I shaved my head.
Probably had like dangly wiggly
cut it.
parts and things that were.
And so he's like, this is how you're supposed to do it. I hate it when people say this is how you're supposed to cut your hair.
There's one way.
Yeah, that's right. Screw you, hoity-toity. Anyway, so it goes, cuts it, and I'm like, oh no. It was like they're really short on the side, but then it was longer as it went up. Kind of like I don't know. And I'm not a military kid. I'm a pastor's
like that
kid.
crew cut thing?
It was like 90s military shows where it was like short on the side and it got bigger on the top. Went home and fixed it. Doesn't know what he's doing.
Let me show you the one way to do it.
That's right.
Anyway, that's always made me laugh.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad you had a week and something to say about it.
It was a good week. Let's talk about this week in PoE.
Well, yeah, because this is the first week it was just an insane week for us. Because of the stuff that I mentioned, we've barely been able to turn the TV on. But this is the first week in forever that I haven't played PoE.
So you didn't play it all week?
No, and I was really excited
even on the weekend?
Because we'll come up and we'll talk about the newest patch that they just came out.
Yep.
And normally they're not doing patches at this time now. I guess that's not really like an accurate statement, but for the most part, we've noticed a pattern, if we can remember correctly, where GGG really doesn't do patches for the last 6 weeks or 4 weeks of the league
launch
that they're currently on.
Yep.
But because of controller support, they came out with some big controller updates, and fixes, but then also included some generic ones. And we'll get into that in a sec. But I was really excited to try these ones because when we talked about it last week, it was these patches are coming, or this patch is coming. Yep. But it was applied, and it was applied. Wow, we're Friday. I think it was applied yesterday, and so I was really excited to play, but. I turned it on, plugged my controller in. My daughter's sick from school, but I'm like, you know what? Some days, I feel bad about screen time. So there's some days where I'm just when they're sick. Sick is different. My kids, they're allowed 2 video game days a week type of thing. They're allowed, 3 hours on a Saturday and an hour and a half on Wednesday. I'm pretty strict with that kind of stuff. But then at the same time, there's parts of me where I'm like, I'm normal. I could play video games as much as I wanted, but I mean, I didn't have video games when I was 6 and 9.
Sure, yeah.
I had
it was 12, 13.
Yeah, and we were playing on floppy and just remember coming over to my house now this is weird. You coming to my house to play a computer game.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was Scorched Earth or Worms or even Commander Keen on the floppy and
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just daydreaming, thinking about those good times.
But you were talking about you not playing PoE.
Right. And so I'm like, you know what? My daughter's sick. I remember my parents let me watch Aladdin 100 times and I was sick. Yeah, sure. Just go finish watching whatever you want. And so I'm excited. It's 12 o'clock. I'm sitting down to play and try out the new controller stuff that they were doing and seeing how it felt again, right? Get re-immersed in it. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Hey, can you fix this? Hey, can you do this? And this, that, and another thing. The asbestos team came coming in and I got half of a white map, tier 1, because I'm in the process of trying out a certain build and just didn't get it. So I couldn't even take any notes on it. So I had first week in forever where I've actually had no PoE. I know, right? I know.
He's given up.
I feel like I've betrayed them. But yeah, so this week in PoE though, it was pretty awesome for, let's see, what do we have? What's first?
Streamer interview.
Oh, right. I didn't get just because of my week, I didn't get to do that. But I've heard we're the type of gamers where we just sit down to play. We're not really big on interacting with the global community. They're all awesome and we really appreciate a lot of them, but we don't sit down to watch streamers and do that kind of stuff. When we have the time, we just sit down, we play. And I mean, now that we have our own community, that's the community time we spend,
Discord.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I've heard Lighty's name. Lighty, I think there's 2
Lighty's
Lighties.
7. He's he's a racer.
Yeah, and I love that GGG does this.
Yeah.
And so I am going to sit down and watch it, but my apologies, I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. Are you in the same boat there?
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I did see it. And I know he streams and he does racing. I know he does well in the crazy gauntlet stuff. And yep.
I'm always nervous to say he or she now. I'm really old habits for me,
Sure.
but I'm I don't know.
I feel like I've seen a video though. But anyway, whatever.
Maybe. Yeah. So
Lighty7 is the name.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to see it, and I really love that GGG does this. So I hope they keep it going. Boss concept art, but of the epic boss, the Searing X art.
It's not an MTX though.
Worlds.
Okay.
No, I gotta change that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I put the concept art under MTX, and Justin's all confused. He has no idea what to do. It's I wrote it in Portuguese.
You remember when they're
oh yeah, they changed the teleprompter.
Yeah. And then the one where he swears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go F yourself, San Diego.
It's funny, hey? Some of the worst movies are the most quotable.
Oh, that one. I immediately regret this decision. It's one of my favorite lines ever.
And 60% of the time, every time.
That movie's a great one.
But PlayStation just got the Vault Pass.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's...
Yeah, it's a little bit delayed. I guess...
but doesn't that Vault Pass only last for the League?
Or maybe... I didn't read it specifically because I have an Xbox, not a PlayStation, but maybe it's just the implementation of it existing, so maybe now it's ready for the next one.
Because I think those things are League long.
Yeah, they're League specific.
Which is just... it's just relatively short. Although it does count your progress up until... that point. So
yeah,
I guess it's
so
not
maybe it's retroactive. I didn't look into it, but I think I remember, and this isn't me trying to be, Xbox over PlayStation, but I think I remember GGG when the console versions were first coming out. I think they said the Xbox is a lot easier to make games for when you start with PC because the Xbox is much more like a PC than the PS4 was. Don't know about the PS5, but apparently the PS4 was just built. And I kind of remember this from my days at Electronic Arts as well, when it was PS2 and PS3. Wow, PS2. Woo.
It was a classic. Remember when we used to play, what was that Hill game? That scary one we'd all take turns playing.
Silent Hill?
Silent Hill. Do you remember that?
No.
We used to, at my place on the PlayStation 1 or 2, we would take turns playing that, and it was terrifying.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you just shut that out.
Yeah, that's right. If I peed my pants, I blocked it out.
That's right.
But
never happened.
Like even then, it was easier for EA to make games for the new Nokia phones that were made to play games back in the day, like in the early mobile games, than it was for a Sony unit. And so maybe I'm getting my information mixed up, but I think I remember GGG saying it was easier to make things for Xbox than it was for PlayStation, just because of how the hardware actually functioned. So maybe that's still the case. I don't know, but yeah, it was neat to see them caught up there. And then that 0.4 patch came out and it came up with a couple hot fixes just because there were some crass issues with some pretty common things like using flasks and stuff like that.
Yep.
But, 0.4.
This was the one we talked about last week when it was in its release notes stage.
Yeah, but it was a biggie. It was a biggie. Did anything stand out to you with it?
No, nothing different than last week. My biggest thing has always just been how the controller works because I haven't tried it yet. This actually reminds me of the conversation we had back when Cyrus was introduced into the game. You
can remember that stuff?
Yeah, well, I can remember a conversation you and I had probably three or 4 weeks into the league, and we joked about how the best part about us being casual and playing at our pace is that all the people who rush and go super fast sort out all of the bugs and the things that are messed up, so that when we eventually get to it, it works fine. That's how I'm looking at this controller thing. I'm going like, whatever, sort it all out, because I would rather try it and then be like, oh, this is actually, I don't know, good or all right, at least not something difficult. I still want to hold off until they do like hot swappable keyboard and controller, but yeah, that's honestly the only thing that I really care about. I am curious how their whole renderer thing goes, but I have no idea if like this beta version of DirectX 12 is actually supposed to be better than Vulkan, or just like, I'm not sure in the long term, if they are looking at a high-end machine, do they want you to use Vulkan, or would they rather people using DirectX 12? I'm not actually sure. So
they actually had some nice descriptions in the options menu when I did go in.
On PC?
Sometimes it really annoys me when patches reset settings, but sometimes it doesn't. And in Path of Exile, it's a game. So some of my settings with this newest patch on PC reset my settings. Not all of them, but some of them got reset, like which monitor was using and there was some of the gameplay stuff that was changed, but my filter was saved. My sound settings were saved. So some of it was on off, but I actually like it when that happens sometimes, because it forces me to go through it again, and maybe something's different. Like, oh shoot, I didn't know bloom was that high, or should be low, or maybe I changed, map. I don't know. I like going through and double checking things sometimes, and options are sometimes things that I forget. It's not actually a game design. I can actually choose that difference. For example, I forgot completely that when I'm displaying my life and mana, I can choose to hide the reservation aspect.
Right.
Which I actually quite like for life. I wish I could separate it from mana, but I like it for life because then I'm not deceived by how much damage I'm taking. You know what I mean?
Yep. But the only thing I'd be nervous about is making sure I had my buffs on, because that's usually a good visual indicator that you haven't forgot. It'll be nice when they eventually come with the one button, because then you don't have to worry about it. But
that I ended up actually turning it back on because of that. I was like, my old way of knowing if I had
if you've turned it on,
arrogance on or not was seeing that gray bar. And so I'm going to try and playing it differently, which I hate doing, but I hope it works because I don't know, you know options. But one of the things that they said within the graphics section was they have DirectX 11, they have Vulkan, and then they have DirectX 12. And I think the description under DirectX 12 was just functions a lot like Vulkan, but it might work better on your PC if Vulkan's not perfect for you.
Yeah.
That's the Tyler paraphrase of that. So they had all three, which is nice. One of the big fixes for me was how the gem and flask tab displays information.
Was that on this patch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I love it because it's actually really annoying on console just because, and my favorite thing about console, one of them is doing inventory, because you just snap to a quadrant. I guess like not a quad tab, but you're snapping to the little squares where your inventory is. I don't have to aim. It's just, it just goes there automatically. But it was really annoying in the gem and flask tab because you can't go to a square that isn't occupied.
Sure.
You can only go to squares that have a gem or a flask on there. And the item screen can sometimes be quite big on some of these, especially if you've got one of those dumb Val skills where the description is actually bigger than your monitor and there's no way to scroll it. You know what I mean? But I think is Molten, I forget which ones are the big ones where you can barely even read the title at the top. But that would show up over top, like right in the middle of the screen kind of thing. So you couldn't really see where you wanted to scroll after that. You know, sometimes, I don't know, maybe you're looking for a skill or you want to see what the organization way. Anyway, yeah, so it was, the new way is now that description's on the far left. It's nice because I was actually getting kind of nauseous using those.
Yours is the stash tab is on the right side?
Correct, yes.
Right, and your inventory is on right.
Sorry, my character is on
console,
the left. Yeah.
It's swapped from PC, isn't it?
Well, controller, it's now the same. So now I guess it's not technically console versus PC.
You know what I mean when I say console, though.
Yes, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if you were saying like controller was different on PC in this regard.
Yeah, I assume it's the same.
You're in controller, your character's on the left and your stash stuff is on the right.
Right.
Yeah. So so that was fixed, but that's a really nice one, a little nitpicky one for me because it was actually making me quite nauseous if I made a mistake all the time now because I'm still not used to the stash tabs. I love affinity, but when you forget like there's a new stash tab and I'm just used to putting, okay, I want these gems in my, I'm testing these skills out, so I'm not going to vendor them yet tab.
Right.
That's not the gem tab. That's a whatever tab. And I can't tell you how many times I'm like XXXXXXX, and then I'm like,
where did it go?
Oh no, because they're not. And it takes me forever to try and find them. But then when the screen's all flashy and weird, so yeah, I just talked about for 10 minutes on the flask and gem tab.
Well, that's good though. I didn't realize that was this one.
Yep. And then the one thing I didn't see was chat improvements. So I think the design is that you can just hit enter when you're in controller support on PC. You can hit enter, type, do whatever you want, and then just keep playing with the controller. That works sometimes, but there's a lot of times it doesn't work properly. So I was hoping that would be on this one because that one's a big one for me to just be able to enjoy the experience smoothly. Because with us, we have our community, the Forever Exiled community,
you want to be able to type.
We're always typing in Global 2121 for anybody that ever just wants to hang out. Works all the time. You don't have to be in the same league. Like I'm a standard player. I'm always testing something out. I'm never actually progressing characters. I'm always testing something. So I'm always in white maps in tier 1 to 5, but I'm in standard. Everyone else is in league and we're all chatting fine. So Global 2121.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to just hit enter.
I think that's the design.
Is that the goal? Yeah.
It seems like it, but it's just, it's still quite glitchy. So, but that's the one, that's my big one right now that I'm waiting for. And then I'll be able to do the rest of the gameplay stuff.
Interesting.
Another one was, what are those things called? Scouting reports. They can stack up to 5,000 now.
It's weird that they ever had a lower limit. I don't understand why. Like if somebody can collect a bunch of them, why not just let them have them?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's fixed now, but yeah, I wonder what the limit was before.
Who the heck has 5,000 of those things?
They go in. Jesus. Well, I guess there's, I haven't invested in that in the Atlas passive tree.
That's true. Actually, that's true. Yep. Also, if you're just playing and picking everything up, Yeah, I personally didn't use them very much the more I got into endgame, but maybe some people do.
Yeah, I never check Keurig stash. Maybe that's just old habit. Maybe it would be beneficial for me to check every now and then. I don't remember what
I did
it
when I
is.
was filling out the Atlas.
Right. Yes, of course. Yes. That is when I do that as well. But I'm typically standard. So
I found it really frustrating that some of the stuff in my Atlas tree wasn't affecting Keurig's maps. And that was enough for me to be like, kind of sucks to go do a boring map, like a pre-317 map. Ugh.
I remember when.
Yeah.
Did they change that? I don't remember.
I haven't seen anything. I remember talking about it the last time I noticed it was very odd that it felt like some things affected it, but some things didn't. Like things like why am I drawing a blank with the blue guys? The drop shards. What's that league?
Harbingers. No, wait, that's not what it's called. People call them Harbies.
The Harbs.
Yeah.
They weren't like something like that wasn't translating. I wouldn't have Harbingers in a Keurig map, but yet I can't remember what there were. There were some things where I was like, maybe it was drop related. I can't remember, but there were some things that I was like, why does it feel like some parts of the Atlas are integrated? But for me, Keurig's missions need to include whatever I built my Atlas for. It should be treated like any other map.
And maybe, I forget if that was a change that they did make and we talked about it, or if that was a change we wanted them to make.
Well, if they have made it, that's awesome. I'll have to double check because that was what always kept me from doing it.
You're not going to double check. You're going to ask somebody.
Someone's going to be like, you idiot.
Hey, but do that on this one,
yes,
please.
Call me an idiot. That's fine. I am actually really curious because if it is, that would be awesome. I would rather have all of his stuff because otherwise Keurig's missions to me are meh.
But they don't have a spot on the currency tab.
What don't? No, they go to
the scouting reports. They fill up your
that's
generic.
Pretty common. That's pretty common for the league currency.
That's not league specific. That's core. Keurig. Like he's not.
I guess that is, isn't it?
Like that's not.
That is a little weird that there's no spot. They all go on my currency tab. They go on the bottom.
This is something I like. This is the only time I feel smart in talking Path of Exile with you is because you're league only. All changes are league changes to you, but for me, because I'm standard,
like, I see get to play that too.
Right, but technically, the only league stuff is Archnemesis.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, so that's true.
All these other changes are core. Like for example, like the what do they call them? I-core drops. You know, like the greater and lesser, and like 4 versions, and then there's the 2 extra. Ichor?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. It's ICHOR is Ichor.
Yeah.
We have I hate our language so much. Seriously, Spanish, right? You're like, right?
See,
there you go. Let's pick another Latin language, and we'll just stick with that because English is driving me nuts. What were we talking about?
You were just getting angry about stuff. Keurig should hold on to those though.
Well, I think Keurig should hold them. Made tab changes for the I-cores right off the bat. Ichors.
Yeah, Ichors, which clearly is going to, but I mean, that's obviously going to be around for quite a long time. But you're right. It is because
they were introduced in the same patch. And
I think Keurig should hold on to those so that when I open up his menu, because I find it really annoying that I have to go to my stash tab, pull those items out, then go to Keurig and open up his, and then use the items. That is very weird.
Do you know which ones you want to use before you open his menu, or is it based on...
Yeah, I mean, so there's like 4 or 5 different types of scouting reports. So you open up Keurig's maps that are right in front of you, and then you right-click one of those scouting reports, and it'll change
from your inventory.
From your inventory. But you just right-click it, but you can't right-click it unless you have Keurig's.
And you can't have his menu up at the same time as your stash.
No, so you have to have them in your inventory, then go and talk to Keurig.
So you're crafting Keurig.
Yeah, it's just odd. Whereas you could just make those scouting reports be held by Keurig and just add a UI to Keurig that's like, that shows how many of each of these buttons you have available to press, and you just use it. It's a really weird system where I have to actually take them out of my inventory, stash, into my inventory, go talk to Keurig, open his menu, then it's weird to me. I can't think of too many things in Path of Exile where you just right-click an item one time to apply something. Usually you're right-clicking and then clicking on the item, right?
Yeah.
In this one, you just right-click the item and all of a sudden his stuff refreshes, which is it's just so different than everything else. Everything else always requires that additional click. But for some reason, when his menu's open and they're in your inventory, then you can right-click them. So
I like your idea.
I think it could be made better.
Your idea. It's more mainstream. Like you're going to Keurig to that part of his menu for a very specific reason,
right? And maybe you
don't
remember.
Going to use those items for anything else.
That's all they can be used for.
Maybe can you trade them in? Is there a recipe for them?
No, I don't know, but yeah, I don't, that part I'm not sure. Maybe there's plans for that, but it still make Keurig hold them or something. Because why make me do all those extra steps when, especially too, sometimes you open up Keurig and you don't remember, oh, did I have enough to re-roll those into uniques, or what did I have? And then you got to go back to your inventory, and then you got to bring them back with you to Keurig. It's just, I get that you can position people close by stash and stuff. I just think it's unnecessary to make me do extra clicks.
It's not first world convenience.
No, make it a little bit easier. Plus, Kira can hold them. And lazy bastard, I don't have the room in my currency stash tab. Okay. That used to be for all the blessings, but I think blessings now have a spot.
I haven't even touched the old ones that I had. They're still right beside my scouting reports. Yeah. I better figure out blessings.
Yeah.
Get them out of the way, because I
think they have a spot
content.
now.
That's timed content. That's old timed content.
It's fast time content too.
Yeah.
I remember when that was like relatively new, and trying to finish all Natal would make me rage as if I was playing Dark Souls. Because the time, it's stressful. The time when it start hitting like 4 or 5 seconds left, you're like, no! And then the friggin' thing will jut to the left, and you got to like,
speed.
No.
Yeah.
All Natal was always my worst.
And after I started being able to make legit builds that could actually do all the content, I mean, pros and cons for certain aspects of the game, but that could do all content. And I'd have people doing my guides that are writing back, oh, first time I've ever cleared the game, and 140 and all this stuff. Thank you. I mean, I can't do that with my builds, but they can. But it reinforces that I know that the builds are there, and that you can do it. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm finally making these builds. I go to do some of these on my own, and I'm like, but the build's good. I'm just not fast enough.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it. So it's content I never see. So when I actually get a blessing or two, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? It looks like a sea urchin.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Oh, I did like. I actually think it's quite an ugly MTX, but I like it because I don't like it, but I like it, and I bought it anyway. But this was before they came out with all the nice new stuff. Hey, BK said, what was it? There was an MTX I really like, because I really like the more natural, like, I don't like the skeleton ghosts, but I like the more bleached ghosts. Or sorry, I don't like the magic misty green and blue skeletons, but I like. Oh, I got like every word wrong in that first attempt.
Yeah. I tried to just go along and be like, yeah, okay, just.
Yeah, I don't like the mystic skeleton stuff, but like the MTX where it's like a normal skeleton. I like, the more naturey and leafy stuff than I do the crazy magical stuff. And I think BK was saying that Tarke helped design one of the MTX that I really, really want to get. Before those came out, it was basically just the Verdant set. That was the most natural and leafy and foresty, but it looks old. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like Dark Souls 1 characters used to look like in armor. You know what I mean? Like flubby and round. It doesn't like suit anything, but they still updated it, which is awesome. They fixed a wonky interaction with Verdant weapon skills. And I like it. I'm glad it's still getting some love, because I put it on sometimes and I'm like, that reminds me, that helmet, the like long animal skull helmet, reminds me of that helmet I always used to use in Dark Souls 2 to increase my soul intake.
We last week in After Dark worked with BK to develop a bounty for her bingo league, and it ended up being called I'm sexy and I mow it. Oh, you got your shirt on? That's awesome.
Justin made me a shirt of our
my wife
slogan.
made them. Yeah, I'm sexy and I mow it. That was our bounty in the BK bingo league. And I was laughing, or just enjoying listening to and watching the video of the guy who finally got the bounty, because people had been trying to get it through the week, and you had to get the green dream to drop. It was all obviously lawn related. So the green dream was the name of the jewel, which drops from Chayula, and the first person to have that drop, like, I guess, have to record themselves and have it drop from Chayula, got a $60 pack. One of the awesome
Falling Leaves MTX.
One Falling Leaves MTX.
One.
And then the grass hideout. It's just a void with all grass. And it was really fun seeing people talk about that they really wanted that hideout, which I laughed at, because I was like, I remember people telling me it was not a good decision. And then seeing the guy's video of him actually getting the green dream to drop, and apparently had been running it for quite a long time. So
that's awesome.
And then there were 2 other people that had it drop for them, but apparently they didn't record it. And I was like, that sucks.
Just like Lego Batman says, always be recording.
But yeah, I got a message from somebody showing me the picture of them getting it. I was like, oh, shitty.
That sucks. That
That's too
sucks.
bad.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad. That's awesome. I'd like to see that. Was it posted? Like, is it something you could still see?
Yeah, I'll show it to you afterwards. It's on her Discord.
Awesome.
So,
and what else? Last thing, hey, some sweet music to go with some stills.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Sentinel. I thought we were done. We're not done. Sentinel.
Yeah, Justin's about to wrap up.
I was like, all right, thanks for Sentinel. So okay.
I have a lot of like nice memories regarding just that term with the different games.
What does that mean to you?
Well, we're just finished. Like you're kind of done with Elden Ring for a good while now, but there's a lot of different enemies in there, like the Tree Sentinel. The second you get out of there's a tutorial section where you learn the buttons, but then there's a tutorial realm where you learn the basics of how to play the game, and then the game starts, and the very first enemy you meet in that second one, it's a massive Tree Sentinel, all gold, and it's a big F you. Welcome to the world. Did
you go after him the very first time?
100%.
Oh really? I was 20 like fear left.
No, my first 20 deaths were trying to at least apply some damage to that thing.
I looked at him and I was like, no, I know what you're doing to me. We're not starting angry right off the bat.
Yeah. And then there's the Sentinels in Dark Souls 2, where you're fighting 3 of them, and they're hucking shields and spears at you. And some nice tower defense games have some nice Sentinel terms in there. Anyway, I like the term Sentinel. It's pretty epic.
It is cool. Yeah. So they had their teaser. What are they? It's a teaser trailer that they do.
Yeah. Name reveal.
It's the name reveal, and then also just a reinforcing that the league announcement will be on whatever date, and then the league launch dates. I think that those were the 2 big things they were pushing with that video. So so the video is fine. The music's always amazing. Like I freaking love the music, and this was actually quite unique, this music, for some reason to me when I was listening to it. But it was, for me, it was a little bit boring.
The trailer,
like, and I remember I was actually making fun of people leagues ago when they were like, well, this this trailer sucked. I can't remember why they did it, but we laughed at the idea, like, it's a teaser, like, what, it's not supposed to give much, which I agree with. I don't want them to actually spoil anything, but it was just boring because there was no movement. It was just 4 or 5 stills with just like a zoom effect on them, and there was no, I want to see movement. I want to see something move. I don't know why, but it just felt a little bit.
Didn't last leagues, wasn't that still like it was just, but I mean,
I don't remember, but I don't think so, because I feel like I would have said something. If it literally was just no movement and just still images, that would.
I think it was, so love this interaction. I love that Bex tweets this stuff and that Camille's okay with it, but she's like, everyone needs a music director that understands this or that's like this, and then it shows a copy
it was like,
of them.
Find you a composer. Yeah. Who can do this or something.
And then she posts a small part of her conversation, like private messages or whatever, with Camille, where she starts off by saying, or the beginning of the conversation is like, well, actually, I was kind of picturing it to be like a fwab, and she's just spelling out FWAB sound. I don't know if that makes any sense. And then Camille just responds like, yep, no, you described it perfectly. Consider it done. You know what I mean? Like, and so anyway, there was this, I don't remember how that came up or what that was relevant with, but
I'm trying to find the teaser. It was 317, right?
Yeah. Why don't you just click it on your computer? There's a link right there.
There is?
Yeah.
No, 317's teaser.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was the Eater of Worlds, and it was just like, dun.
What was that?
And then
what was the expansion called though? Because it wasn't the Siege of the Atlas one, was it? Would it have been for both?
Yeah. And so people, Justin's on his phone, so I'm just going to pretend he's listening.
Totally.
But no, it was one of those where it was like the Eater of Worlds he's got, or is the Eater of Worlds the one with the bubble head? The fish tank head?
Okay, look, hold on. This isn't gonna play very long, but this is the teaser. This is the teaser, and so it is the dude with the bubble head, but there's just movement. It's like movement. He's actually doing stuff.
I pictured it as stills, but he does like swim or fly to the
and camera. It's not like it's amazing. It's just something. It's candy for my eyes. You give me candy for the ears, fill in the other senses. Okay. At least one other one.
Okay.
And this visual was boring to me. It was kind of cool to look back at it now, and we were like, so is this the Sentinel? And they look different to me. And the first time I watched, I was like, okay, there's lasers. Like, I didn't actually look close enough to realize.
Like, they like their they like their hidden stuff sometimes too.
Yep.
And so maybe the stills are there so that there's stuff that we can pause, right? Like they showed
People
different...
pause anyway. Good Lord. And GGG
True.
knows that. There have been times where I'm like, how the hell did people see that? And
I
they
guess
go
that's
frame by
true.
frame.
I guess that's true. And it wasn't too fast. But this one did, like, it let you pause. It looked like there was a little minion following you around. Maybe it's considered, maybe that's called the Sentinel. And they showed them in different elements, right? There was like a fire one, there was a blue one. So I don't know, and it looked like it was fighting the enemies that you were fighting.
Can you imagine if you have to hit like V to call it to you every single time you want? It'll be like the Nets thing with
oh yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
No, and so I don't know.
I appreciate them not spoiling anything, but I also didn't think that they did with 317s. When we saw that, we were just like, what the hell is that thing? Yeah. It was just...
Well, we knew a lot was changing with 317.
Because we knew the end game.
The whole end game was changing.
And at that point, the packs had come out to... We had seen the packs because they had come out for sale before that. It's not that the teaser was bad because it's still fun, and I honestly don't care. It's like a week or 2 weeks before we see the announcement. Right?
What's the thing? I wrote that down.
Yeah, the league announcement or the actual
May 13th is...
That's the league launch.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even write down what that date was for. Anyway, league launch is May 13th.
Which means it's the week
Pacific
before. So the
time
6th.
Justin and I are on the West Coast here, so we talking
so 2 weeks.
Is it? Do you say PST or PDT?
PST.
Because it's the same thing apparently.
Yeah, but I can't keep up.
So May 13th for PC, May 18th for the true believers.
Yeah, I don't care about the console. And so the 6th though is when they'll have the announcement thing.
Love it.
Anyway, I just found it a little bit. It wasn't very exciting visually.
Okay.
That was just my opinion. I would have loved to see something move.
Sure.
You know.
Okay. Well, I thought it was cool.
I'm excited.
I like seeing it. I always have questions.
I don't care what it is.
I'm not the one that needs to be entertained. I want to be entertained when I'm playing. You know what I mean? Like I just want it to be nice.
It does need to be entertaining though.
So the video,
yeah,
not for me.
Well, but you're weird.
For example, for me, the PoE 2 trailers, it's not the actual gameplay content that was interesting. Like for me, I don't need the gameplay to be interesting, but I want to see what the changes are. So I'm looking at the different weapons and I'm looking at the different skills and I'm looking at them actually do it, but I don't need that to be exciting.
Just make it move. It's just when it's still, I just find it was just boring.
Anyway, nobody's listening to you. Bex had a Reddit thing because I follow all the GGG
this was odd. I saw
comments,
somebody post this. Yeah,
I thought it was neat. I mean, it's still something you have to go find. Bex doesn't lie.
Yeah, okay. She does definitely.
When she says something like "we're not putting out a dev met," so she responded to just a random comment on Reddit that says, "We're not doing a dev manifesto this league, so go ahead and feel free to start planning your build stress free."
Yeah, no manifesto this time. Feel free to start planning your builds.
And no, nobody believes her.
I don't believe her.
Everybody's saying, right.
But that being said, what difference does it make? Because the manifesto doesn't change your build. The patch notes change your build.
Sure.
The manifesto might go like, oh, they're going in this direction. That ain't the thing that's going to like change your build. It's the patch notes and patches, like the league launch patch notes, those are coming. They're definitely going to be making changes. So
yeah. Well, I
like this because it's less for me to read.
That's right. You got a whole conversation on 2 sentences.
Yep.
But it's interesting because I don't ever find her as the person that doesn't say that kind of stuff. I think I can't imagine she would say that and that be 100% false. Yeah. But also
the
only time I could see them saying that is if PoE 2 was coming out and they didn't want people to know yet. No, PoE 2 is not coming out, and then a week later PoE 2 is coming out.
Yeah, maybe that's what this is.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think it's called Sentinel. You think that just because they included stills?
Yeah, they're like, we don't actually have any video to show them. What are some pictures we have from years ago? I got these weird lasers. Like I just was trying to play around some idea.
Yeah, these golem skins didn't make the cut, so let's use these. No. What else did they come out with though? Can you click back? I can't read my own phone. I need your desktop. Oh, new avatar little pictures.
Oh yeah, little pictures.
Yeah, but more relevant, like bosses and stuff. You know who's the fat guy that leads the Eater of Worlds? That boss, the semi-boss, the halfway boss, the one with the tar or the sludge.
Yep. They have him as one of them.
Yeah, I love that. The like open gaping mouths or bleeding, like missing jaws, that stuff. So like perfectly gross fantasy disgusting. It's so, but I like
Tyler's
it.
like, I love it.
I do, but it makes me, it's gross. Like it makes me go, oh, but like just so cool. I love those designs. So anyway, yeah, cool new avatars.
That is cool. I don't think I've changed my avatar since 2012.
I change it every league.
Do you? Every league?
Yeah. I gotta make sure, my
You
posts.
find a new one every time?
Yeah, I look through and there's something, it expands. My options expand, Justin. I wonder what it is. Oh, you're going to do this right now. 545 unread messages as a guide replier, as a guide writer. That number terrifies me. I have, when I was doing our show notes for today, I had 3 unread messages for like, 2 of my guides. And I'm like, it's driving me nuts.
I don't even go into it. It drives Ethan crazy every time he sees it too.
Oh my goodness.
But what do you do at this point? I can't. I'm not going through them.
Yeah, you do.
No, God, no. It's just
for you. A lot of them are going to be purchases. There's going to be some people be like, "Hey, just love your show. Just wanted to let you know.
Love you. Come on Discord because I'm not going through those.
You don't
messages.
Respond to half the people on Discord.
Anyway. If you tag me, yes, I do. Yes, I do every single time.
Make fun of Justin's lawn, then he'll respond.
Impossible. So I've had this avatar of the skeleton since the beginning of time.
It's great. Look, see, you have 12 pages.
But
I feel like I haven't always had the same amount. So before they added this, I feel like there's ways that you unlock stuff. I don't know. But you're obviously not the person to ask.
There we go.
Of course. Way to go. You changed it to innocence. The personification of innocence, which has always been the hardest thing for my head to wrap around. Personifying sin and innocence, but innocence is guilty and sin is nice.
Which is kind of cool. It's kind of a fun twist. Because maybe sin is good. And innocence.
In Las Vegas it is.
Well, it's a gray area.
That's right. Where is there that awkward little hybrid between them? Maybe innocence and sin do the unthinkable and have a baby together. Innocence fine though
in the end, right? Innocence isn't like bad in the end.
I click, and then all of a sudden he shows up through Bannon, and I'm like,
and they're just chilling at the
end.
end.
I did like that. That was really cool.
That was cool.
And then, but then I ignore, and then they annoy me after that because I hate how Kitava interacts with them in the fight.
Oh, I always think I'm blowing a cooldown and I'm like, damn it, he's just grabbing one of them. I hate when that happens. And I use a flask getting ready and I'm like,
it doesn't even look good. Like he grabs and then he just like
holds them.
Holds
he's like, hey, bud.
And like slams the fist on the ground. But no, I don't know.
It'd be fun if you heard them like, ow.
Stop it, Kitava.
Yeah, and somehow they get out.
That's what it would be.
Anyway.
No, I actually had a big subject I wanted to talk about, but when we just look into each other's dreamy eyes, Justin, things just get out of control.
We could talk for hours.
So, when was the league reveal?
League reveal is on the 6th.
What day is it today?
22nd.
Oh, okay. So league reveal is not. Yeah, okay, good. So we have stuff to talk about next week. Awesome. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, Tyler's got a list of stuff we'll chat about.
Actually, that list, remember a few, maybe it was like 100 episodes ago now, but we've had one episode where we intentionally didn't talk about anything that happened that week. We just threw in all my filler stuff.
Have we done that?
We have once.
We're probably getting close to that.
It was hilarious. But I was looking through, there's been so many, because GGG has done so many changes in the last,
there's lots
I guess it was from 310 and on. There's just been a major project they've been working on. Yep. There's been something they've been touching on with each expansion, to whether it's like testing us or whatever it is. But like I even remember when they came out with Heist, they were saying, are we adding 300 new gems, or are we adding this, or are we adding this? And they gave you like a list of 4 things to vote between, and it ended up being all of them. Mm-hmm. Right? It was when they added the different quality versions of gems and all that kind of stuff. Like they've just been working on major projects. So the game's changed so much that a lot of my subjects that haven't made the show are completely outdated now. But we should have a...
You're like, hey, remember when...
Yeah, I wanted to say this 4 months ago, and it doesn't bother me anymore, but it did then.
Yeah. It probably still would bother you. We'll hit a bunch of topics, because we've got at least next week where we're still waiting. And then after that, it's going to get...
Oh, it's going to be
crazy.
Good. It's going to be good. But apologies, my fault, but it's my wife's birthday.
Yeah, Tyler's got to go and celebrate or something.
Yeah, spend her money on her.
She's probably way happy right now. without you.
Yeah, at home
this is a
without
real
me.
birthday.
That's right. Well, my family doesn't have to shush up. Normally, I'm able to just lock myself in the office and they can be as loud as they want.
Yeah.
But ever since our flood in November, every Friday, the kids and my wife are, if they're home, have to lock themselves up.
Yeah.
Normally, because it's a school day, it's fine. But it's after dark that they have to shut their faces.
Yeah, that's the same here. Oh, it's Friday. Dad's recording.
The only family that's not excited for Friday is ours.
Yeah, at least until either my older ones are happy later in the evening, but the younger ones are just like, like, yeah, whatever. Go upstairs and be quiet.
That's right.
Anyway, let's wrap this up. We have, we'll have a bunch of your for fun topics next week. Then that'll be good.
There's one big subject I want to get to though.
Ooh.
And Tarke brought it up in episode 100.
Ooh,
It's something that's always, in a good way, bugged me, kind of handcuffed me. But then Tarke brought it up in episode 100. I don't remember if it was the regular episode or the After Dark episode.
Yeah.
But it's
All right.
been really eating at me ever since.
Well, episode 134, it'll come to light, and we'll find out what grinds Tyler's gears.
No, it's a good conversation. It's not a
in a
grind.
good way.
It's not a gear.
Makes him angry happily.
It's not. No,
No, makes you happy.
I want to know what you
but
think.
Okay.
Because I have a great idea that GGG has to do.
Oh, now I can't wait.
And we all know they're going to do it, right? They're going to like listen to that episode. And they're going to be like, that's a really good idea. Let's just completely revamp the game.
Okay. I don't remember that. So yeah, we'll find out. Episode 134. Thank you everybody for joining us for episode 133, Forever Exile, the Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
Tyler Recker of Days.
Patrons, you guys are superstars. We might have just a short recording we'll do for fun that we'll send you guys, but we're not going to have a full episode just because Ty's got his wife's birthday and he's got to run. So thank you for supporting the podcast. We'll see you in a short episode in After Dark. Everybody else will see you in 134. If you're looking for our website, we got it foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled2. We have a Discord, which it is hopping. It's popping. It's the place to be on a Friday night.
Don't do that when I'm drinking.
And if you're looking for info on our Patreon and other ways to support the podcast, you can find it down below. Peace.
You don't even read that, eh? I thought I guess this is episode 133, but you got that down pat. Good for you.
In here, Ty.
Whew.